Hello everyone, my name is Santiago Birch. I'm a student of Biology 041, and Part 1, and this is my energy cycle model deep dive assignment. So for this assignment, I wish to explain the process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process that plants do that allows them to get energy. They use a wide variety of materials for this, such as water, carbon dioxide, and the sun. They get their energy, which are carbohydrates, and dump out the things that they don't need. Photosynthesis creates their energy and then creates some other things that they don't really need. The most important thing that they don't need is oxygen, which is not important to them but is important to us. Photosynthesis is not unique to plants only. There are other organisms that can do it, but plants are the ones that are most commonly attributed with it. Now, the way plants do this is interesting and complicated. Through marshmallows, toothpicks, and colored markers, I have created examples here of molecules, and we'll show you how photosynthesis works. So here, this right here is an oxygen molecule. For the sake of demonstrable purposes and to keep them from falling apart, most of them are skewered. Marshmallows are skewered. This is a carbon molecule. This is ATP. This is NADPH. This is will come in necessary later. And all of these ingredients will be used to finally, ultimately create glucose, sugar, which is actually what the energy the plants need. So, using the room light to represent sunlight, there, much more clear. The room light will represent sunlight. Now, in photosynthesis, plants rely on all of these ingredients, as I said before, to make glucose, or sugar. As a waste product, we get oxygen. As a waste product that we dump ourselves, however, the plants need carbon dioxide to make photosynthesis. Photosynthesis occurs in the thylakoid, in the chloroplast, a cell inside the plants. And this is from the biology notebook. This is important, keep that in mind. So here is a water molecule. So what photosynthesis, or part 1, if you will, of photosynthesis, which occurs in the chloroplast, or in the thylakoid, is this. It will split the oxygen and split these into protons, neutrons, into quote, electrons, protons, and oxygen, end quote. This is from the Amoeba Sisters, youtube.com, 2022. So, using the oxygen atom and pairing it with another, we technically have an oxygen atom molecule. The plant really doesn't need this, not at all, and so it just throws it away and we inhale it. And throw out, as a result, carbon. And interestingly enough, here photosynthesis literally just split a water molecule and made an oxygen molecule. Then threw it away, obviously, but the most important thing that I would like to highlight is that not many things biologically can do that. Very few organisms, as I said before, can do photosynthesis, and plants are one of the few things that can actually do this. What we just did, this whole thing about taking the water molecule and splitting into different parts, into electrons, protons, and oxygen, whatnot, that is called the light-dependent reaction. It requires the sun to do it, to do all of this process. The light the plant receives from the biology notebook makes electrons in the plants excited, end quote, biology 2022. These electrons take carbon molecules and ATP and NADPH made in the dependent reaction separately, which will be used to make sugar. This operation is called the light-independent reaction. It doesn't require light, but it's usually more often than not done in the presence of light. This process is also called the Calvin cycle, and for, again, demonstrable purposes, I've drawn a gigantic circle here. And interestingly enough, it occurs outside the thylakoid, in the liquid surrounding the thylakoid, called stroma, the Amoeba Sisters, youtube.com 2022. So, using NADPH, and ATP molecules, as well as carbon, the plant will eventually make its final thingamajig and get its energy. So the carbon comes in, and the ATP will basically give off energy. So we'll fuel the Calvin cycle. Then the NADPH will supply electrons, the Amoeba Sisters.com, youtube.com 2022, and this will help keep the sort of negative current so it doesn't get too powerful. Again, Amoeba Sisters, youtube.com 2022. And out of all of that, we will finally get glucose, sugar. This is how it looked like in the video anyways. Now, to summarize, through the Calvin cycle, we get sugar. This is energy to the plants. And due to the complexity and unique process it takes to do this, again, very few organisms can do this. In fact, plants are most commonly attributed with it. And thanks to these plants, to the processes done through photosynthesis, we get oxygen, which is required for us to breathe since we can't survive without it. Animals benefit from this as well, as they eat the plants, and then the animals eat the animals that eat the plants, and then we as humans eat the plants and eat the animals that ate the plants, as well as eating the animals that ate the animals that ate the plants. We owe a lot to plants in photosynthesis, because without it, there wouldn't be life as we know it. In fact, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say that without plants, without photosynthesis, next to water, they're one of the few things that require habitable life on other planets for humans to live and exist. And there you have it. My name is Santiago Birch. I'm a student at Biology 041 Part 1, and this is my Energy Cycle Model Deep Dive assignment. Credit to my sources and inspiration for this project and video comes from the Amoeba Sisters. Their video on YouTube called Photosynthesis Updated, which I will share a link for educational purposes, the biology course manual, and Google. Thank you very much for listening to me.